people are jumping on already. So we've just opened it up. Cal and I will just sit here and chat for the next couple of minutes until everyone jumps on. But we've got 8 people jumping on already, so it is
Cool.
good.
We've got a few changes to show you today as well.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, the guys have been busy over the weekend, so.
Great.
I know.
Awesome. I haven't caught up with my team today, but I know they sent out a lot last week, but I'm not sure how many have come back.
I think you sent out about 60 or 80 last week.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know
a few have come back.
Yeah, have they? Cool.
Yeah, lots of good photos and comments. And
I'm just impressed with Arthur, who sent back 80 photos and spent an hour doing his routine. I think that's awesome.
I think you had another one that sent back about 52 photos.
Oh, really? I love it. It's been good that we've been able to practice with it last week as well. So just, obviously a bit of feedback for you guys, and then just see how the process works. But it really is awesome. It's such good software. So
it's cool seeing the comments from the tenants' perspective as well, because obviously they've been living there. They can pick up on things that maybe a property manager who would sort of go in and then go out within sort of 10 to 15 minutes. They can spend a bit more time on things. So, yeah, good to see that perspective. Yeah.
And we changed our template just to say to a tenant, I think the template when we send it out, we just said, we're trying to do this to obviously cut down on risk for our agency and also for you guys. However, if you don't complete it, we will contact you to organise the routine in face-to-face. But I think most people are like, oh, this is just going to be easy because my property manager won't come through. So I think that was a good sort of change. I don't know if that's in your template or something we did, but I thought that was really good. So most tenants will probably go, yeah, I'll get that done. All right, we've got 18 people booked in or jumping on now, so we might get started. Just so everyone knows, I will be fielding the Q&A area. So if anyone has any questions, just type it into the Q&A section and I will answer them. There's also a chat section, so you can just jump on there and do general chit chat, but I ask that if you do have a question, do it in Q&A because it's easy for me to control, because the chat gets really busy and I miss stuff. Kelly will cover most of your questions today during the session anyway, but if there's something that you need more clarity on, let me know. And if you want to raise your hand and start talking, then I can unmute you. So you just press raise hand and I can unmute. But I will hand over to Kel. She's going to drive everything today. But what I will say is we've been using the software over the last couple of days or last week, and it's been absolutely awesome. A really, really good experience for us as agents and also our tenants. So Kel will run through a lot of that. So over to you, Kel.
Great, thanks Hayley. Thanks for everyone who has jumped online. So we're going to run through remote inspections, which we have formally released today. So we had a few offices using it last week and the response has been amazing, and we've had some really good tenant inspections, remote inspections returned, with lots of good photos in there as well. So you can then make your assessment and get those reports out to your property owners. It does allow us obviously to catch up with all of our inspections that we haven't been able to do, say the end of March, April and now May. So you'll find that you'll be able to catch up really, really quickly. I think your office, Hayley, sent out about 60 or so last week, all on the same day, which we can catch up on pretty quickly.
Yep.
So we are going to run through it at a high level. We are providing training, which you can register for via the admin portal if you're already a Inspection Express user. And that you'll just find that under your help icon here, webinars, and you can register for those. I think Sarah's running 6 this week, and she'll run more. There's also a training video that you can refer to as well. If you aren't using paperless condition reports yet, this is part of that package. So it's a great time to sort of look at that, going paperless and upgrading to that, which we can help you with as well. And if you're not already an Inspection Express client, feel free to contact us and we can run through a bit of a demo of the full software suite and help you out with getting on board with that as well, so you can start using the remote inspections as well. So we will run through it. I've shared my screen with you. So this is our admin portal. I've scheduled a couple of routine inspections in here that you can see listed. So you would continue to schedule your inspections through your trust software. So if you're using Property Me or Property Tree or one of the other softwares out there, it'll automatically pick up what's due today or what's overdue, and also the next 14 days, which we can send out electronically to the tenant now as well. So here's one that's due today, which I'm going to send to the tenant. So drop down, remote inspection. I've got the address there, the template type.
I'm my husband. There's only 50 people online watching.
Oh, I thought you were doing
No.
Inspection Express.
No, go.
Oh my gosh.
The troubles of working from home, kids, you know. Sorry about that. My daughter will come up in 2 seconds.
The amount of webinars I've done where children have run in the background. so funny. Anyway, so here we've got our address, we've got the template which we can select. So we can create different templates there for requirements that we want our tenants to complete, and then okay. So there's some new features on here since we last looked at this, which is pretty cool. So this is our list of requirements. And if I expand, I can then change the requirements. So this is your default template to start with, which you can then change and add additional items to as well. So it's matching it up to whatever your routine template or how the property routine template is already set out. So wherever there is a entrance hall or or entrance, it's going to match it up and give instructions as well as ask for photos. So I've got here a minimum amount of photos as 2, and I can change this. So if I want to make it 70, you can have unlimited photos in there. I've just asked for 2 because we are going to walk through this at a demo level. I can ask yes or no questions. And then I would just type the question in there. Is there a preferred option, question, answer, sorry. And then I can save. And all of your requirements are listed down here. So if there's anything that I want to add, all I would do is press plus, and then I can add the item or the requirement. So I can view my last report. So if there's something that was brought to my attention the last time I went through, this is new, I can actually preview the last report that I did. So 6 months ago when I went through and, you know, there was mold growing on the windowsills, I want to make sure that the tenant's checking that this time. So I can then add that as a requirement into the remote inspection that we're sending out today. Is that a clear overview?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you add in a requirement like that, will that sit with that report forever then, or is it just for that one report?
It's just for this report that we're sending, so we can change the requirements the next time we come to send out the remote inspection.
Yeah, cool.
The idea of the requirements is it's not the routine template that we've already created for the property, because eventually we'll be able to send these out in bulk. So it's matching up if there's a bathroom exhaust fan on our routine template, which we can check, I've got to find here, which we can check via our last report here.
Yep.
And it'll match that up with what's on our routine report.
Okay, cool.
We'll go workflow now. So we can send it out immediately with a deadline of 7 days there. So you can change your default. If you want to book in a time to walk through with the tenant, then you can schedule it for a date and time with the deadline of this date and time. This particular one here, the fine here that will not go away. I can send it out now and I've got a deadline of 7 days. So our tenant name and email, phone number is here, and I can change that if there's another tenant that I would prefer to send it to. It is only going to the one tenant. And then I've got my details there. So let's send now. So the idea with send or scheduling a time, so sending it at a date and time that you would prefer to do a walkthrough with the tenant, you can actually preview what the tenant's doing at the time. So if you want to set up, 12 o'clock today, 15 minutes you're going to run through with the tenant on the phone, then you can preview what they're doing there as well. That's an option. Most of the users that have already started using this software have just sent it to the tenants. They've gone through, they've taken some really good photos, made some comments, which we can then edit and send to the landlord.
I guess it'd be good if you had a tenant who was not as tech savvy, that might need that little bit extra support, or a tenant that you feel might not complete the report to your standard, because you can, I guess, look at the photos as they're sending them through and say, hey, by the way, could you just look at this area or take a couple more photos of this area, so you get the report the way you want it rather than them guessing, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got that option there to walk through or let your tenant do it in their own time. Yep. So this is the email that our tenant is going to receive. They can start the remote inspection there. You can see that link there in the middle. There's also a video walkthrough which we've created so they can see with instructions or physical instructions on how they can complete the remote inspection. So we'll tap start. Agree to the terms and conditions and continue. Brings us through to the first area of the remote inspection, which is the entrance hall. So if you're already using paperless condition reports, this will already look familiar to your tenant, which is also good. And it provides us with instructions here as well as our requirements. So we must provide a comment as well as 2 photos for the entrance hall.
And those instructions are instructions that you can change. You can use the template that you guys have created, or you can just change your own words in there as well, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. So you can change the instructions as well as the requirements, and you can ask those yes or no questions as well. My Wi-Fi is a bit slow here. Right.
Come on, we had tech problems last week. Love it. Technology.
Okay, here we go. So our photo is uploaded. So I'm just walking around on my phone or my iPad here, taking the photos that my property manager requires, adding a comment, and as we're going through, so we've just added 1 photo there. I'm going to zip back to our admin portal. So if I'm in the office or at home, here is where I could view what the tenant or the tenant's activity. So the entrance hall, I can view the photos that they just took. And I've added 1 photo, and you can see here it's the same. 1 photo for the lounger and no comment yet. So a great way to do a bit of a walkthrough, and if the photo's blurry, you can always ask them to add another photo. Or if you want them to walk over to the corner of the room there, move the curtain back and take a photo of the carpet, then you could advise them on doing that, because you can see the photos that they're taking there. They can also use the voice to text, which makes it a bit easier for them. Kitchen is clean and well presented.
It works so well for you.
Yeah. It learns the way you say things, so
Yeah.
it should get better over time.
I always get hawks instead of hooks.
Yes. That's the Australian accent. So here in the kitchen, I'm asking questions about the oven. So you can also add features within that area that you want questioned or photos added for. So the oven in this case, is it in good condition and are the lights and fan working? So if I select yes, it removes the requirements and then I can move to the next room. That's an idea of what you can do. If it's no, then I do need to add that photo. The oven is working, but the lights and fan do not appear to be working. In our next release as well, we will have a video option. So the tenant will be able to do sort of a 10-second video of the area or report maintenance, like the fact that the light and fan isn't working. We've got bathroom, we've got laundry. So it takes some time for the tenant to go through, but you know, I don't think they mind doing it in their own time. From what we've seen come back, sort of feeling more involved, or might be. Good. Condition. And our smoke alarm's there. No, and we can proceed to signature. So our tenant is signing that they've provided accurate information to the property manager. And then as property manager, we would receive an email notifying us that the tenant has returned the report. The tenant will also receive a copy. This will feed back through into the Inspection Express platform where we can then edit the report before we send it on to the owner. So our copies just come back. We'll view it here on the screen. So all of the questions and instructions are there, as well as in blue our tenant comments with how many photos are attached to each area. So on average, with the ones that we have seen returned so far, it's about 35 photos per routine report, which is often a lot more. Pardon?
That's pretty amazing, that many photos. Like, because when you think about how many photos property managers do, generally probably not that many. So
no, that's right. So they are taking more than the average property manager.
Yeah.
And yeah, like 2 of your tenants have taken more than 50 photos. So it's really good.
The first tenant did 80, and I think, what did you say, the other tenant did 52 or something that came back? I'm like, oh, that's a lot. Great.
So now that that has been returned, we can view that document. We can see that it's been returned. we can also view the status here. So if we were waiting on tenant, it would show that it's been delivered, they've collected it, they haven't completed it. So you've got that full audit trail throughout the whole process as well. Yeah. If you do need to send it to the tenant again, so there's photos are blurry, or you want them to take more photos and add more comments, then you can clone it and resend. That will also send everything the tenant's already done, and then any of your additional requirements.
So was that a new feature from one of the new? Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
I like that.
Yep, that's one of the new ones, because that was a lot of questions we were getting asked.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Obviously, you can view the tenant activity as they're walking through, which is really nice, and the view agent report. So this is the one that we're going to edit before we send it to the property owner. So you've got the photos there, which you can scroll through, make your assessment based on the photos. You can always leave the tenant comments in there or remove them. It's quite nice to sort of add what the tenant commented on, and then you can add your assessment below that shows, you know, the tenant's perspective as well. And I think that's what you would, you guys are doing here.
That's what we've started doing. I like it.
And you just make your way through viewing the photos, obviously making your assessment, keeping the tenant comments there, so you can change that and just add tenant and then add yours under, or you just remove everything and add your own.
Yeah.
Once you finalise that one, you do get the final report like this one here. So your cover page, which your property owners are already used to receiving. The tenancy information just pulling through from your trust software. And then the areas that we've commented on with all the photos. There's a new disclaimer there, just saying that we weren't physically able to get to the property, but the tenants have taken the photos and we've made our assessment based on what the tenant has provided us. And all your photos would follow, and everything's labelled and date and time stamped as well. Cool, so that is it in a nutshell. Have we got any questions there?
Yeah, Debbie said, does the email come to a private email or through Inspection Express? I think that's the email of when the tenant completes a report and it notifies you that it's done.
Yeah, so it comes from the tenant's email. Yeah, it does.
I think Debbie means when the tenant finishes the report and then it emails, I'm assuming it will email the property manager, whatever the property manager's details are in Inspection Express, it'll send the email to them to say it's been done.
Yes, yeah. That's right. Yeah. So it'll send, yeah. So from me, I was the property manager, so it's sending it from my email to the tenant here. Yeah. So that was the one that has the tenants completed. Yeah. Once we then edit and send to the owner, the tenant doesn't get a copy of that one.
Yep.
Unless you send it to them.
Yeah.
Does that answer that question?
Yeah. Any other questions from anyone?
I think we had a few from...
Yeah, I had a couple emailed through. So if you just want to run through that. So with the template in Inspection Express, can you just show where you can set up the master template? So not the one that's attached to the property, but the one that you can change as a master.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, obviously before you get sending, it's a good idea to come in and create your master template. So we've got one in there for you to get started, and then maybe you should think about all the room types that you've got on your templates and add those into the master requirements. It's only going to match up what that template already has within that property.
Yep.
So just under our paperless office, remote inspections, over the right-hand side, you've got manage templates. And then you can see there'll be one in there, which we've created for you, which you can use. And then you can clone or just start editing the one that we've changed there for you. So if you want to create multiple templates, clone, edit, and then save. You can relabel them up here as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so some of the things that we've changed in our templates, can you just open up one for me? Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yep.
So we've changed some of the photos, so making sure that tenants actually do put comments. We've also put in comments, particularly for bedrooms. Please take 4 photos from different angles of a room, because we don't want tenants to stand there and go click, 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 click at the doorway and walk away. So yeah, getting different ideas of the scope of the whole room. In the kitchen, we've put in comments about obviously taking photos of the oven, checking exhaust fans as well, which is another one. We haven't put it separately. I think we kept our kitchen all in one, but we've asked them to do parts of the kitchen. Bathroom, same thing, looking at exhaust fans, mold, that sort of thing. So we've just put a lot more, I guess, detail about what we want to see. And then for particular properties, once we attach a template, we can obviously ask for extra information on particular properties if we want to as well. So we've changed the master template to kind of suit what we want, but then we can go in and individually change them as well, which is good. And same with outside, we've done a lot more detail about outside, what photos we need.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
If you do need to add anything extra, so within our template here under General Inside, because that's something that's on every single routine report, we've just added some instructions that, if there's any other indoor features such as heating and cooling, staircases, security systems, to please note any maintenance or take photos on, then, that's sort of a general item there. If we haven't added anything to requirements that needs to be added for the tenant to think about some things that they could take photos of there.
Yep. Another question I've got is, how does the inspection, sorry if I missed this, but how is the inspection then closed in Property Tree? Does it sync?
Yeah, great question. I forgot to mention. So once we do finalise it, so once we've gone through and we edited the property owner's property report, it'll finalise and it'll save back into our Property Me. So just like it does today, you'll have a report in there. It'll complete the task and reschedule it as well.
Yeah. And that's with Property Me, Property Tree. What else?
RP Office, Repit, Multi-Array, Console, REST.
Yeah, cool.
Sorry, the integration with REST is slightly different, but with most of them it will save back in.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
And if you're not happy with the photos the tenant has taken, is it easy to send the report back for future editing pictures, or will I need to do an entire new inspection?
Yeah, so it's really easy now. This one's obviously been completed. We've just added the option, and the guys did it literally yesterday, where we can clone and resend.
Yeah.
So, so we'll be able to clone everything that we've added as a requirement, as well as the tenant, and resend it out and ask for any other additional requirements.
Yeah, I like that, because then they don't have to start from scratch again. You can just update the areas that you need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And can we bulk send the inspections through your trust program? They currently use RP Office.
Not yet, but a bulk send feature will be coming in the next release as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the moment it is one by one, and I know you do have a few to catch up on.
Yeah.
But once you've got that initial requirement template set up, it should be fairly easy to get them out.
Yeah.
And
I really like how you can schedule them as well. So, you know, as a property manager, say you've got 50 reports. If you send out 50, they're going to come back pretty quickly. And also depending on what time limits you put on them for how quickly they've got to do them as well. So with that, you could say, well, I want to do 15 in the first week, you know, 15 in the second week, then 10 and 10. So you're just sort of staggering them across the month, so you're not all of a sudden bombarded. I think that's a really good, because you also want to get them out to your owners pretty quickly, and because they're date stamped and time stamped, there's a little bit that you obviously have to go through just to make sure that it's, you know, spot on before you send it out. So yeah, I like that feature as well. And you can pre-plan, because property managers like to plan. And then
schedule them all for the rest of the year, couldn't you?
Well, you could. And do you know what? With the new legislation, the way it's been written, you only need to give a minimum of 7 days notice once it comes in, obviously, in Vic. But there's no maximum there, so it's interesting. Yeah. Someone else said, in the email that goes to tenants, are we able to amend the writing to include they have 7 days to complete?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can do that. This is one that I'm scheduling for this property in particular. So under notifications, I can edit for just this one. If I close out of here and go under our remote inspections, under manage template, and I can edit the workflow down here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be editing it as at a template level rather than an individual property.
Yeah, that's good. And another question, if your report is not sent back, does it show anywhere as overdue in Inspection Express? How are we notified? That's a really good one, actually.
Yeah, so we've got a 7-day deadline. So you will get an email notifying you that it hasn't been returned within the 7 days.
Okay.
And then you'd probably want to get in touch with the tenant. You know, you could give them the option to redo it or conduct it on site, I guess. It's up to you what you do next.
And this question, can we transfer comments from the previous routine inspection to the new one, and then the tenant property manager can update from there?
I don't think so just yet. There might be an option there to copy and merge, but let's find out.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to tell me who's asking that question?
Kerry, that was one I emailed through.
Oh, okay, that was Kerry.
Yep. Yep.
All right, cool. I can get in touch with her.
Cool. And I'm surprised no one's asked, but what does it cost?
Yeah, so if you're already using paperless condition reports, which most of our users are, we don't get any sign on without using it now. Yeah. So it's included. It is included in that subscription cost. If you're not, it's really easy to upgrade. Just get in touch with myself or your account manager, Jeremiah, or sales@ipropertyexpress.com, and we can look at upgrading you. And depending obviously on the size of your portfolio, we can let you know the cost of that, but it's really a small price to pay for the amount of time that you'll be saving. You know, the paper costs, the time is really the significant part there. And then everything that's tracked within your audit trail. So the paperless condition report solution is a really awesome solution to have there as well.
Yeah, we love it. We have been using it now since we started in March last year, and it's just amazing. I can't believe how you just go send and it's done. It just magically comes back. And obviously having that key form as part of it now, which is awesome as well. So
yeah, completely paperless.
Yeah. Any other questions at all for Kelly or myself? We're more than happy to answer them for you. I think we've done a pretty good rundown of what it is. Once you actually spend the time, and it doesn't take a long time, but just spend the time doing the templates and think about you walking through and what you normally look at, because everyone's office is obviously different. And then once you set up that master template and you've got all your requirements in there, maybe just send it out to 1 or 2 tenants, those tenants who are, you know, a little bit more tech savvy, or maybe a tenant who's already done the paperless condition report, because they'll recognise that software, and send it out to them. Maybe do that, you know, watch live type scenario with them and talk them through it so that you're comfortable with it, and they can be kind of your test dummy. And then once you get that one back, then you can obviously start sending out bulk. But I would pick your first tenant that you do it with and just ask them how they found the process as well. Because you want to make sure that moving forward, this is an easy thing for everyone to do. Claire just asked, are you guys still investing in the video option for inspections?
Yes. So video inspections for the agent is pretty much here. But for the tenant, that'll be rolled out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, from today. Yeah. So it's not too far away. But video from an agent's perspective is pretty much here. It's just going through the final phases of testing now.
Yep. Awesome.
But unfortunately, we can't use it just yet. But at least we've got this.
And look, moving forward, we as an agency, we may do, for those tenants that are long-term tenants, we might do 1 in-house walkthrough a year and then 1 remote inspection a year. So you're still viewing the property twice, but you're only going there once. So even once COVID's done, I do think that this is something that a lot of agents will continue to use, particularly for those tenants who are long-term tenants that you don't want to go through every 6 months. So yeah, I think it's absolutely awesome. We love it. And I'm really glad that once we get out of COVID, we're not going to have 250 routines due. Because that was a bit concerning at one time.
I know. Gosh.
Is there anything else that anyone wants to ask, or anything you need to add, Kel? Did we chat? I think we went through it all.
Yeah, we've covered everything there. Just if you are already a client, get onto one of Sarah's trainings, or there was an email that went out this morning with a great video walkthrough of it all. Or we do have a knowledge base which you can go on and do your own research there as well. So yeah, keen to hear any feedback and see how it all goes for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Cal. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's a beautiful sunny day today in Melbourne, so hopefully you get out and about a little bit. It is here at least. But I'm sure I will see everyone online soon. And if you do have any questions, just reach out to either Kelly or myself. We're happy to answer them.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.